Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Female Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Danny, and today I'm going to talk to you about a multitude of things and also just catch up with you after the weekend. So, for those of you who don't know, this weekend, myself and Charlie had the absolute pleasure of speaking at IFS in Brighton. It was incredible, and we're both really, really grateful for the opportunity. And it was so lovely to share it with Charl and my clients that were there as well. For those of you listening who don't know, IFS is a huge fitness event, probably the biggest fitness event around, I'd say. And it's run by James Smith and his team, and they have a whole wide range of different speakers there talking about different subjects. And it was spanned across 3 days, and it was hosted in Brighton this weekend. Myself and Charlie spoke on the Saturday, but we travelled up to Brighton on the Friday and went to see My Therapist Ghosted Me live, which was absolutely hilarious. My Therapist Ghosted Me is a podcast. If you haven't listened to it and you want a laugh, go and listen to it. I will listen to it every single week and be walking down the street and I won't be able to stop myself from laughing out loud. It's that funny. So they were touring in Brighton whilst we were going to be there at IFS anyway. So myself and Charlie decided to go on the Friday night as a bit of a sort of wind down, something to do to take our mind off of speaking the next day, a bit of a get together, an opportunity to let our hair down a little bit, because neither myself nor Charlie have had a holiday all year so far. And it's been pretty relentless work for both of us, with the Flourishing Society and then one-to-one coaching on top of that, and the podcast that we run. So it's just been nonstop all year, and we just thought it would be a really nice idea to do something to wind down and let our hair down. And I'm so glad we did, because it was absolutely hilarious. Vogue and Joanne did an incredible job, and it was just such a nice way to spend the evening. And we also went to a restaurant called the Giggling Squid before we went to my Therapist Ghosted Me, and the food there was incredible. If any of you ever get the opportunity to go, I would 10 out of 10 recommend. We had a Thai green curry, and it was honestly like the best Thai green curry I've ever had. One of the best things I've ever put inside my mouth. So such a nice evening on the Friday. And then myself and Charl stayed up just chatting before we went to bed, essentially, and catching up properly. And then on the Saturday, we woke up, had breakfast, headed over to IFS, watched a few of our peers in the industry speak. We saw Adele speak on the menopause, which was brilliant. And then myself and Charlie did our own talk. And what we spoke about was protecting your body image, relationship with food, and hormone health whilst pursuing body composition related goals, and also improving those things off the back of pursuing body composition related goals or extreme or chronic dieting, and how it can feel to have these struggles and how to combat them. It went so well. We were so happy with how it went, and we are so proud of ourselves, which is, it's really hard to actually say that. It's not something I say very often, but myself and Charlie have wanted to get into doing more public speaking for a long time now. And when I say a long time, I mean years. And this year, obviously, we started with, in fact, last year we started with our own event. We spoke at our own event at the end of last year. Then we ran our second event at the start of this year. That was our second speaking event together. And then we did the expo. And obviously now we've just done IFS, which is the biggest one we've done yet. And I feel as though we've progressed with our knowledge and our public speaking every single event that we've done. And yeah, just so grateful to have been a part of IFS. It was such an incredible weekend, and we got so much positive feedback. The fact that we were stood back, well, at the side of the stage for at least an hour and a half after the talk, because people were coming up to us saying such kind things and saying how much they benefited from our talk, was just incredible, like a bit of a pinch me moment. So thank you so much to anyone that came and gave us your time and listened to us. It means the absolute world. And an even bigger thank you to anyone that came up to us. I loved connecting with everybody that I connected with over the weekend, both those that, you know, came to listen to the talks and came to benefit from the content and support that we provide, but also peers in the industry as well. That's another reason I really like events like this weekend, because it's such a great opportunity for connection. And if you're someone listening to this who is a personal trainer or an online coach, you run your own business, and a lot of the time you spend time in your own company and you do what you do alone, you run your business alone. And so going to events like these can be so beneficial, because it just makes you realize actually how great of a place the industry can be. And it makes you realize you're really not alone. And there's always something to be learned from every person that you come across, in my opinion. Like, everyone has different amounts of knowledge, everyone has different areas of expertise, everyone has different insights, experiences. And I just think it's so valuable to connect with as many different people as you can, especially if you're someone who's an online coach or a personal trainer. And you will benefit from every little micro connection that you make, in my opinion. Sometimes the things you learn will be what you don't want to do from some individuals, but not many. You'll always learn something. That's the main point anyway that I'm trying to get across. But yeah, it was just such a lovely weekend, and reminded me of how many incredible people there are in the industry. And it's just so nice, because obviously a lot of the work that I do now is online. It's nice to bring those connections into real life and actually have that in-person interaction and be able to have an impact on people in person, and also spend time with my clients in person as well. So just so grateful for all of it. And then after myself and Charlie spoke again, we went to a few of the other talks. We went to Dan Osman's talk, which was incredible. I also saw Sohi and Ben Carpenter, which is fantastic. And I then actually had to mess around with my hotels. Then I went out for dinner with my clients and some of their friends, which was so nice. We went to a Turkish restaurant. I am a big fan of Turkish food. And then there was the social on the Saturday night, which was great. In a bit of a crazy place, a bit like not what I'm used to these days, but it was a good laugh anyway, and lovely to mingle. And then on the Sunday, again, I headed down to IFS. Charlie had actually gone to LA at this point, because she flew to LA with Dougie on the Saturday night / Sunday morning. And I headed to IFS, saw Emma and Amelia's talk, which was absolutely fantastic. They were talking about building a business through connection, and in my opinion, building a business in the best way, the most authentic way, when you're a coach who actually cares about what you do. So absolutely loved their talk. And then I stayed around, mingled for a bit, and headed back. My journey back was 5 hours. So it was a long one. It was a sweaty one, because it was so hot, but we made it, and the weekend was 100% worth it. So that's my weekend. And yeah, again, just so incredibly grateful to have been given the opportunity to speak. It genuinely means the world. And I actually felt so at ease speaking. I was saying to Charlie beforehand, I was like, are you nervous? And she said, no, not really. Now we know what to expect. And I felt the exact same, just very at peace. And especially when we actually got up on the stage and started chatting to the people in the audience and connected with them before we actually went into our talk, I just felt so calm and prepared. with it being something that I'm so passionate about and something that I'm so confident speaking about, it just came so naturally. And it's always an absolute pleasure speaking with Charlie and being able to bounce off of each other. And something that we say is we don't over prepare when we're speaking, because we find that we tend to then overthink trying to match the script and trying to be perfect. Whereas if we just make sure that we've got our prompts and we know what we're talking about, and we allow ourselves to flow a little bit in the moment, bounce off of each other, share insights from the week and, you know, client case studies and things like that, and things that come into our mind as we're speaking that are relevant to the audience as we're looking at them, it just goes so much better. And the feedback was incredible. So proud of us. And yeah, that was my weekend. And if you weren't able to be a part of it, make sure, whether you're someone who's a personal trainer or an online coach or somebody who is just into fitness, into health, make sure that you do try and get to some of these events at some point, because they're genuinely so good and you'll learn so much and you'll connect with so many incredible people, and it'll be one of the best things you've ever done. And for anyone that's interested, myself and Charlie will be running one of our own events towards the end of the year. So that's always an opportunity to attend one, and it would be an absolute pleasure to have as many of you there as possible. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And if you are interested, drop me a message and let's chat, and I'll make sure to keep you updated. But yeah, they're just the best kinds of events. And a bit of a personal update from me as well. I've actually decided to enter a half marathon, which is in 10 weeks' time. It's in November. Because I have been really enjoying running recently. Half marathon is something that I've never done, but I do think I'm capable of it. And it will be a nice little challenge and something to aim for, because yeah, really enjoying my running as it is at the moment. My resistance training, I've already dropped down a little bit, because at this moment in time, I don't really care if I don't build more muscle tissue than what I've got. My goals might change again in the future, but right now I'm not too bothered about progressing with hypertrophy. So I'm happy just training 2 or 3 times a week, resistance training 2 or 3 times a week to maintain what I've already built. And I'm really enjoying my running and yoga outside of that. So in line with how I'm enjoying my training at the moment, the half marathon really fits with that. And I feel as though 10 weeks is a really good period of time for me to aim for that. With me, I'm pretty consistent with around 10Ks at the moment. So I think it's realistic for me to work up to that without getting injured. I have got a bit of a running program lined up, and I am programming my own resistance training as well. And within my resistance training, I have reincorporated some of the Olympic lifts, because as a lot of you will know, I have done my strength and conditioning qualification, but I never managed to book the practical assessments, the final practical. I've done all of my exams, passed all of my exams. I've done my practical workshop. I've done the case study, but I never managed to book the final practical assessment because all of the dates were down south. But I've now managed to book it for next month, and it's in Manchester. So I need to be able to demonstrate the Olympic lifts as well as teach them. So I've reincorporated some of them into my training so that I'm prepared for the practical assessment, and ties in quite nicely with the goal of running the half marathon, alongside making sure that I've got some strength and hypertrophy work in there to maintain, like I said, the muscle mass that I've already built. So they are my own fitness goals at the moment. I'm very excited to run a half marathon. Like I said, I've never done it before. I joined a group chat with a group of girls who are also running it in Manchester. So that's something to look forward to. And I'm trying to rope a couple of my clients into coming along, because there's also a 5K and a 10K on the same date. So even if they didn't want to do the half marathon, which I don't think they will, they could do the 5K, or some of them could do the 5K, some of them could do the 10K. So I'm trying to rope some of them into doing that with me so we can have a little bit of a get together. And I'm also planning my client meetup for the end of the year as well, which I'm really looking forward to. So they are my main updates. And this week I'm just getting stuck. I mean, I get stuck into work every week really, but the main priority this week is just getting stuck back into work and making sure that everything is prepared for the last module of the Flourishing Coach going live, which is going live at the end of this week. And that module is on hormone health, restoring menstrual cycle function, and a little bit on PCOS, the menopause, and thyroid health in line with that as well. So that last module goes live this week. We're just finishing the resources and lectures off for that. And everyone's getting on so well with the Flourishing Coach. The coaches that we have as a part of the course are incredible. It's been such a nice community that we've created. Everyone's got along so well. The group calls have been absolutely fantastic. And I can't wait to see how they continue to get on and grow and evolve both personally and professionally throughout, because they're already absolutely killing it. So yeah, the last module goes live, and hopefully as many of them as possible will be able to hop on to our in-person event as well towards the end of the year. And then we've got our next launch of the Flourishing Coach in October. So if you are someone listening to this and you're interested in the next launch of the Flourishing Coach, make sure that you're signed up to our email list. We've already got quite a few spaces taken, and spaces are limited because with the Flourishing Coach, we want to keep it as a tight-knit community. We want it to be a safe space for everyone to form friendships, to communicate, to bring client case studies to the group calls, to have one-to-one time with me and Charlie during the course, rather than it just being about resources and webinars. So if you are interested, you need to get in touch ASAP, because the spaces are already going, which I can't quite believe. I'm like so blown away. But yeah, we've already had quite a few spaces be taken. So if you are interested, you do need to message us as soon as possible. Otherwise, you might miss your opportunity. Like I said, that launch is in October. It's the 16th that the course starts, but you can secure your space now for that launch. And then the next launch won't be until next year. We're not sure on the date yet, but it won't be until next year. So if you're interested, get involved. We'd love to have you, but we can only offer a select number of spaces with the nature of the course, because it does include one-to-one check-ins as well as the small group calls. So yeah, think fast if you want to get involved in that. So we've got a lot going on. Charlie is currently in LA taking her first holiday of the year, and I am going to Canada on the 30th of September for my first holiday, and probably only holiday of the year, which I can't wait for. I'm going out there to visit my sister, and I am going to take a little bit of downtime from work whilst I'm there, because I'm going to practice what I preach. I know that I need it. I know it's good for me, and it'll result in me being able to feel, perform and function as my best self personally and professionally over the long term, and being able to maintain good health, which is obviously what I talk about all the time. So can't wait for that. It's going to be kind of a once in a lifetime experience. I've never been to Canada before, and we are doing a road trip. So my sister's hired out a car. We're starting in Vancouver. We're going to Jasper, Whistler, Banff, and Calgary, as well as Vancouver. So I can't wait. If anyone has any recommendations who's listening to this, please slide in my DMs. I would love to hear from you, and I'm sure my sister would love the recommendations too. So please hit us up. And yeah, I can't wait for that. I also can't believe how quickly this year is going. It's flown, and it's scary how fast it's going. So yeah, I can't believe it's September and it's going to be Christmas soon. Sorry to let you all know that. But yeah, I just wanted to give you a bit of an update on all things in this podcast and let you know where I'm at with my own fitness goals, as well as with things that I've got coming, so that you can get involved if you are interested. And I also am obviously still one-to-one coaching. I absolutely adore one-to-one coaching and having a really close-knit relationship with the one-to-one clients that I do work with. So if anyone is interested in that, I do currently have some spaces available. Please don't hesitate to get in touch. It would be a pleasure to hear from you. I do cap spaces because of everything that I have going on, so that I was actually chatting about that this weekend with a few of my clients, and also with some other people that I met over the weekend that were friends of my clients. The fact that I do, to share exact numbers, actually, I keep my client numbers between 30 and 40 because I want to maintain a really great relationship with each individual that I work with. I don't want to be one of those coaches that just sort of gives people targets and then's like, okay, off you go. I help my clients on a much deeper level, obviously with their overall health, their relationship with food, their body image, their performance-based goals, and their body composition related goals, and with their hormone health. Whatever their individual goals are, I will get them there. But I also want to connect with them, and I want them to know that I have their best interest, and I want to help them with their lifestyle as a whole and just becoming their best selves. So that's why I keep my client numbers on the lower side. I never want to be one of these coaches who's coaching hundreds of clients. It's just not in line with what I want and the service that I want to provide. So that's a little bit on me and my motivation with one-to-one coaching. But like I said, I do currently have a couple of spaces available. So again, think fast if you are interested, and just drop me a DM and we can chat. There's never any pressure. There's never any strings attached. I don't push anyone into anything. I don't make anyone, if we do have a call to talk through things in more detail, I don't make anyone sign up on the spot. You're welcome to go away and think about things. It's just not how I work, being pushy. So please don't ever be scared of that. And if you do want to know more about coaching and how it works with me, go back and listen to the podcast on the Female Fitness podcast that is called Online Coaching and How It Works with Me. And that details everything for you. And if you do want more information, just drop me a DM and I'll shoot that over to you by email, and we can have a chat via a Zoom call if you would like to do so. But that's pretty much it for today's podcast. I have got some really exciting guests lined up, but today's podcast is just a little bit of a quick update after a really, really hectic weekend, as I wanted to keep you guys in the loop with everything. So please let me know if you have any questions off the back of this. I would absolutely love to hear from you if you have any requests for topics or guests that you'd like to hear from, or if you have any specific questions that you want me to cover on the podcast, please get in touch. Just drop me a DM on Instagram at Danni Bosworth, because I'd love to hear from you. And there's never any such thing as a stupid question. I want to know how I can help you guys and what you want to hear. So please get in touch with me. I know so many of you listen to this, but I'd love to actually hear from you and connect with you. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.